Thank you so much for being here, folks. All right, so are we ready for the announcement?
There have been wrong guesses only.
A lot of wrong guesses. No one got the correct thing. So this emergency press conference, not really an emergency. This press conference is based on a thought I had while I walked my dogs this morning, which is where I get most of my inspiration. And I was also listening to a audiobook that my mom got me. Thank you, Mom, from Gary V. It was Gary Vaynerchuk. Let me see what it is here on Audible. I forget what it's called. I just started listening to it. She got me a while ago, and I am sorry that I did not listen to it earlier. It is Gary V's audiobook called 12 and a Half, Gary Vaynerchuk, Leveraging the Emotional Ingredients Necessary for Business Success. All right. So, no, Shannon is not pregnant. Snip, snap, snip, except I only got the snip, so Shannon is not pregnant. Anyway, and get what Gary V talks about a lot in his audiobook, and in general, Gary says,
Meow.
no, Gary, not you, Gary Vaynerchuk. He says he's all about doubling down on your strengths. I mean, you can work on your weaknesses and maybe he calls it level set, but double down on your strengths. And I got to tell you, I thought about yesterday. I don't know about you guys, or I know there's some folks who are new, but the folks that have been here before, yesterday morning was one of my most favorite streams I've ever done with that new court with that Janet and Dizzy found, where we just had rapid fire, new folks coming in and out. And I don't like to be like an egomaniac, but I think my strength doing this, and I think what folks like, is me riffing on the spot, commentary, stuff that's happening fast, and me just riffing on it. And I had such a good time doing that, and I feel like that's my strength on this YouTube. I think that's one of my biggest strengths was doing that. And since we started streaming, guys, I started on the Gwyneth Paltrow trial, and then we just went straight into all like Zach Latham, Richard Merritt, Eric Robinson. All we've been doing are these trials, which can get a little tedious if you haven't noticed. Like Thami Randolph, like there are some Borophyll moments, folks. So what I have decided and what this press conference is about is that's what I'm going to start doing regularly, guys. I may do, a big trial, like obviously maybe if Koberger is televised, or obviously Rex Hurman is televised. Like those things, I will cover. But my daily, I think what we're gonna do, starting going daily, is doing trials like that. Whether it's that, courtroom, or there's a bunch of them. Alyssa, I don't know if she's still in the chat. She sent me a bunch. Thank you, Alyssa. But I'm gonna start looking for those courtrooms where it's just people hopping in and out, and like people walking in on their spouses in the bathroom. That was so much fun, guys. I mean, not that part particularly, but uh, and by the way, like, why am I? If I do a main trial, like I looked up Thami Randolph the other day trying to find something, and there were like 10 other accounts that were streaming it. Like, why am I doing the same thing everyone else does? And that's not really my strength. So I think going forward, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start watching those courts. And by the way, also, like it's a little bit lighter. Like, I hate DUIs and I flip out about it, but no one was murdered and shot in the head, and autopsy photos that I have to give trigger warnings for all the time. And I think everyone had a good time. I know Shannon got some messages that like from folks who were like worried about me because I've seen like I was a little bummed out. So, but I had such a great idea. So it's going forward. I think that's what we're gonna do, and that's what the press conferences. And babe, do you want to talk about the Patreon, the patron things that we were talking about? Or do you want me to talk about? I don't want to be.
Sure,
Go
sure.
ahead.
Um, One of our main things since we started this channel and things that we tell you all the time is that we really want to provide value for you if you are, especially if you are paying for content. We will always have free streams. We will always have free Twitters, free, you know, information that we're going to give and free content that we're going to give. But for people who pay a little bit extra, we want that to be worth it. We don't want it to be like, I remember when we first started our Patreon, we were asking people like, what do you get in other people's Patreon? And I remember somebody's comment was like, I don't really get anything. I just send them $5 every month, but it's fine. And I was just like, no, we absolutely cannot be like that. And so what we're going to do is we want to make more of a delineation between the free content and what we are giving to our patrons. And so going forward, Jay has some things that are going to be available to be voted on only by certain tiers of our patrons. And also things like, we started this in the beginning and then it kind of fell off, but the birthday thing where we're going to like stop the stream and do your birthday and give you a shout out, that kind of thing, that is going to be patrons only. So, if you are somebody that comes in, normally we'd love you to become a patron. If not, people in the chat will probably tell you happy birthday if you say it's your birthday, but the stream stopping, that is going to be something that's special for our patrons. Also, if you remember, we put up Jay's mom's sauce recipe and we like teased a little bit of it. We're going to do that more with our graphics, our exclusive things that are on our Patreon, so that people know a little bit more of what is actually on there. And so, like my custom graphics, if we're working on a case like the Adelson coming up or something like that, Sarah Boone, you may see like a little bit of the graphic on Twitter, and then you need to subscribe to see the rest of it. Also, just reminding people that we do have those on there, because sometimes, even if you are a patron and you're interested in those things, you may not remember that those are on there. People are asking about the sauce recipe in the comments. Yes, if you are a paid member of our Patreon, those Jay's mother's sauce recipe, which has never been written down before. This was passed down generation from Italy, from Sorrento,
Italy.
From Sorrento, Italy. It's passed down, mother to daughter to mother to daughter to mother daughter. And she is now allowing you all into our family by passing it on to you as well. And it gets to live many more generations. And also her crumb cake is on there, which is absolutely delicious. So that both of those are in Patreon. If you are a paid member of Patreon, you will get that. And as Liz Merrill says, she made the sauce and the crumb cake, and she says, if you are not making mom's sauce, you are eating butter noodles with ketchup.
And,
This
and I just want to add on to this. One thing I thought about when I'm listening to Gary Vee, just as a business and kind of being I wouldn't consider myself an entrepreneur doing this, but like I have to do this as a business. I got to stop fucking apologizing, asking for folks to become patrons, or telling people about our merch, or telling people about our wish list. Which, by the way, Janique went and got a external hard drive that I had on there that I need because my MacBook doesn't have the memory, and I got to take shit off. And I feel like I want to save this stuff. So thank you, Janique, so much. But I just got to stop. Like this is we are working really hard on this. And, I've always said, ultimately, sponsorship is what I want to do. But right now, to keep this alive, and I think people enjoy it, and to do this, I'm working all the time. This is not like, if you see like me on Twitter or YouTube, or I'm doing this all the time. I go to sleep, I wake up, I do it. So I just got to stop apologizing. Like I'm trying to do a business right now, and I got to do a better job of promoting myself, promoting that we have a wish list on Amazon, or we have merch, or we have Patreon. And if people want to support it, they can. If they can, and by the way, if they can't, that's okay. And like we always say, liking the stream and sharing it, and telling your friend, and sharing it on Facebook, that all helps us. So like, I don't want people to feel guilty if they can help us, but at the same time, I shouldn't. I got to stop feeling guilty. Saying, hey, we have Patreon. Hey, we have a wish list. Hey, we have merch, because bottom line is we need that money to keep doing this. We just can't. We're not independently wealthy. I wish we were, but we are not. And I want to keep doing this, and I love doing it, and this is a passion. I'm 43 years old, and for my entire adult life, I worked at a shitty job that I hated, and I hated doing it. I love doing this. I love being with you folks. I love this community we're building, and I want to keep doing it. So, yeah. And by the way, Shannon had a good idea as far as bigger trials. What we might do sometimes is at night do a recap of the biggest moments. We don't have to watch the whole fucking thing. Like, who wants to watch Thami Boy fall asleep listening to a DNA expert? No one wants to hear that. We can get to the good stuff. So maybe we, do a night stream where we just go over the highlights or some shit like that, while during the day we do the live stuff. So, yeah. So,